The 4 artists from Team Niall Horan and the 4 artists from Team Snoop Dogg gave outstanding performances on the second night of The Voice's Season 28 playoffs. However, one jumped out from the others and brought Snoop to tears. Donny Hathaway's A Song for You was the song that Ralph Edwards, the endearing Team Snoop crooner who proposed to his fiancée after advancing beyond the blind auditions, picked for his playoff performance, and the Drop It Like It's Hot rapper was really moved by it. In order to dry his eyes, he even took off his trademark shades. You reminded me of certain individuals in my life who are no longer with me. As soon as you sang that. After his song, Edwards' coach told him to verklempt. It's a pleasure having you on my team. It's a pleasure being able to work with you, to call you my brother, so thank you, Ralph, Snoop said. Snoop, who has grown to love every member of his team, got emotional once more when it came time to choose just one artist to represent Team Snoop at the live finale. However, he was aware that he needed to focus. I can feel my heart racing. I'm making my choice based on tenacity, showmanship, and musical spirit. Having stated that, Snoop eventually declared, Ralph's got an incredible voice, and I feel like he's strong enough to deal with anybody on the other 3 teams. Snoop continued. It's a dream come true to be this far. Edwards thought to himself. Definitely a dream come true, although perhaps not by much, since Edwards was identified as a possible winner right from the start. Horan agreed with Coach Michael Buble's assessment of him as a frontrunner during the knockouts, saying, the stuff that you were doing. To be honest, I didn't think it was your voice. It differed greatly from what we had heard. Dude, you could win this show with ease. It sounds like a voice worthy of tears. Season-defining moments on The Voice occur when the lights go down, the chaos subsides, and even the most seasoned singers are reminded of the power of song. However, nobody anticipated that Snoop Dogg, a hip-hop legend, businessman, and undeniable cool king, would be totally destroyed in the middle of the playoffs. With his trademark swagger, he entered the season prepared to coach, to motivate, to show America a new side of himself. However, nothing could have prepared him or the audience for the emotional tidal wave that swept over him the night one artist gave a performance so unvarnished, so vulnerable, and so intensely personal that the Dogfather's sunglasses fell off his face. This explains why Snoop Dogg sobbed so much that he had to remove his sunglasses, and why that incident has already gained notoriety. An emotionally packed playoff night every year, the playoff rounds are fierce. It's when the performers must show that they belong on the big stage by putting on their best show instead of just trying out for a chair turn. The audience is totally engaged, the stakes are extremely high, and the coaches are under almost as much strain as the competitors. Throughout the season, Snoop had been surprisingly emotive. He had established connections with his teammates that extended well beyond voice coaching. He discussed with them issues he was deeply familiar with, such as ambition, identity, and utilizing adversity as fuel. Nevertheless, he was unprepared for Ralph Edwards, the artist who caused a stir from the minute Ralph Edwards took the stage. His silky baritone and old soul delivery earned him the nickname Dark Horse of Team Snoop. He had been a calm storm the entire season, steady, modest, and strong. Ralph, however, made the decision to bring something new to playoff night, a performance that was more than just a show of skill. It was a confession. He selected Donny Hathaway's song, A Song for You, which is renowned for breaking through even the strongest emotional barriers. Then make the world feel it, nephew, Snoop murmured as he put a hand on Ralph's shoulder during rehearsals after Ralph explained why he had chosen the song. That's exactly what Ralph did. The show that rocked the studio, the initial notes were delicate, almost brittle. Under a slender ray of light, Ralph stood by himself, gripping the microphone as if it were the last thing keeping him grounded. His voice, soft, tremulous, and full of tales he had never told out loud, came into the room like a prayer. Then he dug further. It seemed as though each verse came directly from his heart. The audience fell silent. The respiration of the other coaches stopped. Even the often boisterous live audience appeared hesitant to shatter. The enchantment. Snoop Dogg, however, was devastated when Ralph closed his eyes and spoke the words, "And I love you in a place where there's no space or time." Snoop begins to slip his sunglasses. Initially, Snoop was seen blinking quickly behind his huge aviators on video. His chin quivered. With his hands clasped, elbows resting on his knees, and his breath held, he sat still. "Oh my God," gasped Gwen Stefani as she gave him a quick glance. "Are you crying, Snoop?" Snoop wasn't just crying though. He was containing a flood. Memories of individuals he had loved and lost, people who had supported him when he had little, and others who never saw him reach this point were all evoked by the performance. It ended when Ralph struck the last note, a deep, painful note that bore the weight of everything he had experienced. "Man, this one hit me," Snoop mumbled into his palms as he leaned back and put both hands to his face. The reasons for removing the sunglasses. Snoop was still clearly overwhelmed as the cameras went back to the coaches for comments. Those sunglasses had served as his shield for years, allowing him to remain composed, mysterious, and somewhat swaggering even at emotional times. But all of a sudden, that shield was insufficient. He removed them, revealing eyes that were slick with tears. Dozens, not just one or two, that he had been struggling to hold back. The audience gave a quiet gasp. Gwen started crying. Reba extended a hand as though to provide unspoken assistance. "Wow, man," even Niall Horan muttered. "Show respect." For what reason did Snoop remove his sunglasses? For the first time on The Voice, he couldn't hide behind anything because the situation was too huge, too real, and too personal. Snoop reveals, "He sang my life back to me." Snoop let out a trembling breath and turned to face Ralph when it was finally his turn to speak. With a harsh, emotional voice, he said, "Listen, nephew, you took me somewhere I ain't been in a long time. That song, that message, the way you sang it. Man, you sang my life back to me," he said after pausing to gather his thoughts. "You performed for the folks I lost. I nearly didn't pursue the fantasies you sang. You sung about the anxieties I still don't discuss. And you did it with such soul and respect. I was unable to control myself. There was silence in the room." Each syllable originated from a deeper place than soundbites on television. It was an uncommon instance of unadulterated truth on a program that prioritizes spectacle, competitiveness, and performance. However, this was no longer about spectacle. It was a matter of connection. Even Snoop's longtime admirers, who had followed his career for decades, claimed they had never witnessed him display such raw passion. "When Snoop Dogg cried, the whole country cried with him," was a tweet that brilliantly captured the moment. Backstage. Things not shown on TV, even after the cameras cut, Snoop continued to be upset, according to viewers who saw the episode in real time. He got up, approached Ralph, gave him a strong hug, and murmured something that caused Ralph to cry as well. According to crew workers, Snoop needed some alone time backstage, which is really uncommon for him. He didn't feel ashamed. The attention didn't overwhelm him. He simply wanted a minute of silence to think, to breathe, to allow the performance to sink into his soul. According to one producer, Snoop wasn't crying out of melancholy. He was crying because only music has the power to move someone. Ralph's response. "He could feel my story." Ralph was visibly shaken when he was interviewed following the playoff taping. He claimed that he picked the song because it brought to mind the family members, mentors, and religious leaders who supported him. Many of them departed before they could witness him perform on a national platform. Ralph remarked, "I realized Snoop was experiencing the same thing I was when I saw him crying. And connecting spirits is the very purpose of music." The significance of this moment. The Voice has previously featured poignant moments. Coaches weep. Participants weep. It's ingrained in the show's emotional fabric. But is Snoop Dogg in tears? Did Snoop Dogg have to remove his sunglasses because his soul was no longer able to remain behind them? According to the producers, Snoop's emotional response will likely be one of the season's pivotal moments, if not the entire season of The Voice. This was the most honest he has ever been, according to those who have worked with him. Supporters claim to feel more connected to him than before. Ralph Edwards, however, is the true here. He wasn't merely given a place in the live shows because of his voice. One of the most important musicians in American music history was moved to tears by it. In summary, a night they will both remember. Snoop Dogg joined The Voice with the intention of mentoring, motivating, and imparting his many years of experience to up-and-coming musicians. He had no idea that he would be the one changed. However, that is The Voice's magic. You never know when a performance will transcend the lights, choreography, and cameras and reach the audience's heart. And Ralph Edwards did just that on that fateful playoff night. Snoop Dogg, whose career was built on his unwavering coolness, had to remove his sunglasses to reveal his humanity, not to brush away tears, after he sang a song that moved him so much.